G'day, I'm Brad Pettit and welcome to the February 2017 edition of From the Council Chambers. The Fremantle Oval redevelopment project was a big item of discussion at the Council this month. And importantly, we've reached an agreement that's been both signed off by the City of Fremantle and the Fremantle Dockers for the Fremantle Oval to be handed back to the Fremantle community so that it can be used for a range of community events throughout the year. And pleasingly, we came to an agreement with the Dockers, which was both a win for the Dockers and for the City of Fremantle. As part of the King Square project, we need a new home for our administration building while we're rebuilding King Square. And we've agreed to the Dockers that we'll move into their headquarters now that they've moved to Coburn, and that we will pay them $1.5 million over 3 years as part of that. But at the end of that, we'll actually get to keep the building, and actually the Oval will be handed back even earlier for community activities. And I'm really excited about this. What we can see is that we can imagine now the Oval will be used all year round for everything from women's football games through to waffle games all year round, summer sports in the warmer months, but also music and community activities and those kinds of things. So it was a good outcome. It was a hard-fought negotiation, but I think ultimately now we can see that $20 million redevelopment of Fremantle Oval happen as well. A second item related to the Fremantle Oval redevelopment was actually the question around Stan Reilly and St Pat's. For those of you who don't know, St Pat's have been using that as a temporary accommodation base for about 30 men who have been using that as a crisis accommodation. The council was really committed to making sure that St Pat's continued to have the ongoing capacity within their organisation to offer that crisis accommodation. We obviously didn't want to see those men put out in the street in any way. So we worked with them to come to an agreement where the city will pay St Pat's $200,000, where they will actually build another facility, or actually adapt another facility that they've got in the region, which will hold those men into the longer term. Again, this is a really good outcome because the Stan Reilly, I should say, was actually always only a temporary location. And what we've done now is actually make sure that we've got a ongoing, sustainable option for the clients of St Pat's to use in the region. And the upside of it as well is that when we can demolish the Stan Reilly site now and turn that into a temporary car park, so that during the King Square project we will have an extra 160 really easy to access bays to actually make sure that people can have some really good convenient parking. So there was a series of wins that came out of that in terms of both good outcomes for St Pat's and their clients, but also some good outcomes for businesses in Fremantle in terms of more easy to access parking. The Notre Dame proposal for the corner of Cliff and High Street was a big item of development. The City of Fremantle officers have recommended that should have been refused, and there was a lot of debate around the merits of that development proposal. For those of you who hadn't heard, the proposal was for a 5-storey development that they would use for their nursing and also have a public theatre in there as well. Whilst there was lots to like about the proposal, it was agreed both from our staff but also from the heritage advice that we got that the scale was too large. It was we're really careful in the West End, which is now of course part of the State Heritage List, that we see that the heights are kept within what would almost always be 3 to 4 stories, but also that the design is made to be really compatible with this really important heritage precinct. So the council unanimously refused number 3 High Street, but ultimately it won't be a council decision. This will go to the Joint Development Assessment Panel in coming weeks, and they will ultimately decide this. Although it'd be fair to say that both the community and the council, I think, gave a very strong recommendation to the JDAP that it should be refused. The council considered a climate consensus statement this month. This was put forward to us by a range of non-government organisations who are really trying to put forward an advocacy document that actually talks about how we can, as a community, seriously address climate change and move towards a society that's based on renewable energy and sustainability. Really great to see this and come to us and see the wide range of church and community groups that have already signed on to this important document. To the best of my knowledge, the City of Fremantle was the first local government in Western Australia to sign on to this climate consensus statement. And it's about putting really our values really at the heart of what we do. I think you probably already know that the City of Fremantle was the first local government in Western Australia to be carbon neutral, the second in Australia behind the City of Sydney. And we are continuing to make sure that we invest your rates into investing into renewable energy and those kinds of things. Just for example, every year we put 1% of rates towards renewable energy projects. And what that's meant over the last few years is that we've actually seen our electricity bills go down, not up. And that's pretty unusual for any organisation or any household in Western Australia. So, and we will continue to do this, investing in renewables, investing in sustainability, and making sure that we really do address the major challenge of climate change as we go forward. 21 Beach Street is a property that the City of Fremantle has down near the East Street Jetty, which Dada have been in for many years. Of course, Dada are now moving up to the old boys' school, which meant that this property we were putting back out for lease. One of the things the council was considered that there was an opportunity for the Aboriginal centre that we currently have at Arthur's Head, that whether that Aboriginal Cultural Centre could move down to Beach Street. So we had some very good applications from a range of great organisations, from Autism WA to the RSL and others, who are looking at Beach Street. But we've decided to defer finalising this process for the moment, whilst we looked at whether this was a more suitable venue for an Aboriginal Cultural Centre. So it got sent back from Council, deferred back to the Finance, Policy and Operations and Legal Committee of the Council, FPOL, in March, where they will ultimately consider the pros and cons of this. Also with a budget of $20,000 so that they can go, if they do choose to go down the route of the Aboriginal Cultural Centre, that engagement process can happen and be done properly and fully, so we have a really good conclusion for that, so Council can make a long-term decision on what is ultimately a really important site, and one which has got a lot of opportunity. And it was, I guess, we're really blessed as a community that so many good organisations saw that they wanted to be part of the Fremantle community and use that site. But what we will be doing is just taking a little bit more time and make sure we have all that information in front of us before making a final decision. Thanks for watching from the Council Chambers. For more information, please see www.fremantle.wa.gov.au/agendas.